Hello friends, you are watching the Seated Scribe and I am Rudrashish Datta. Today's episode will be a talk that handles a common and pertinent question on how best to acquire fountain pens. Friends, at a time when interest in collecting fountain pens or other writing instruments are on an upswing, buying fountain pens, especially the costlier varieties, have become enormously tricky, and even the most alert collector or buyer might end up getting duped from unscrupulous sellers who are flooding the online market. Cities and towns which have offline outlets of dealers specializing in pens are perhaps the safest, since collectors may actually test and experience a pen firsthand before buying it. Most of these sellers do dispatch their products for online orders placed via their websites. As a matter of assuring the online buyers, such sellers often send photographs of the pen, the parts of the pen, the invoice, and the packaging via WhatsApp or other social platforms to the buyer before dispatching them through courier. With over 85% of the fountain pen collection in this part of the world coming through online modes of purchase, it is incredibly important to choose an online seller correctly. In the last 3 decades of my pen collection, I have come across some golden rules, as it were, of acquiring new pens, especially pens which are in the medium of high range price bracket. Let me share a few of the golden rules with you. The first golden rule: if possible, acquire a fountain pen through an offline store. Some may not offer discounts, but it is very important to sacrifice a few bucks to get a real and genuine product, rather than save a few by way of discount and end up being handed over a used or a compromised product. Golden rule number 2: if online acquisition becomes the only option, focus on website purchase of specialist pen stores or outlets. Golden rule number 3: avoid aggregator e-commerce stores or platforms while buying expensive fountain pens. Such platforms usually attract the most unscrupulous crooks in the fountain pen trading business. On top of it, such aggregator e-commerce platforms become a challenge if an unsatisfied buyer wishes to pursue a legal route via the consumer forum to redress a bad product sold to them. Golden rule number 4: if aggregator e-commerce platforms are unavoidable, please research seller feedback and rating. In the fountain pen buying profession or vocation, whatever way you call it, even one negative feedback should disqualify a seller as a crook in the fountain pen business. And while adopting e-commerce platforms, please have an eye and avoid universal trading stores while buying fountain pens. And by universal trading stores, I mean stores or sellers who sell everything from a Waterman filius to toilet cleaners. Usually, their names give away their business scope. Golden rule number 5: in e-commerce platforms, avoid buying pens which want one item left. These items are usually defective and discarded products which the sellers are trying to release on heavy discount. and they are sure to dissatisfy you within the first couple of days of use. Golden rule number 6. Many pens on offer in e-commerce platforms are manufactured in foreign countries and dispatched from their countries of origin. You will usually get an indication that a pen product is an imported item from a wide delivery time window, like for example a delivery date shown between 10th March to 16th March, and the window is usually a window of uncertainty. Importers who import such pens and give them to you, they usually ascribe the delay to customs processes. However, please keep in mind that if a product is failing even the extended delivery schedule and getting delayed beyond that, the issue does not lie with customs, who typically process non-disputed imported cases in pens in 3 to 4 days, but in procedural misdeclaration from the importers. And one rampant development in this field is importers trying to maximize profit by trying to minimize or even avoid legitimate import duty. Such unscrupulous importers and sellers usually have a very poor customer rating, and most customers complain that they either got a defective product or a product that came way late or a product that did not come at all. My golden rule is that if a pen importer and seller in an e-commerce platform has a rating of 4 or less on a 5-point scale, it is always better to avoid buying from such sellers. Importantly, even the e-commerce platforms cannot process refunds in case your ordered item is delayed inordinately by the import process. Now, in order to avoid this pitfall, I always advise collectors to buy foreign made pens from established pen outlets in India, which have a big collection of already imported pens. The next golden rule is that pen collectors or buyers should go by sale and not discounts, and I will tell you why. Fountain pen business has a profit margin of approximately 8 to 18% or at best 20% of the labeled price. So, if a seller is offering a discount higher than the maximum profit margin of, let's say, 20%, you must be sure that it is a distress sale of a defective or an incomplete product. Avoid buying fountain pens which offer unreasonable discounts. They are, as I have said, either fake or used or defective. If you wish to buy pens at a lower price, visit the websites of these specialist pen sellers, and you may often see sales organized by such specialist pen sellers, and it is during these windows of sale that most pen collectors, including myself, procure pens. And remember, these sales are organized by reputed pen sellers in India, not to dispose of defective products, but to dispose of the products they already have in order to give space to newer and more interesting varieties. The next golden rule is that if you are supposed to visit the websites of pen sellers, you will be seeing a range of pens being offered, some of which have poor customer rating. There may be a number of reasons for this, but I would recommend to zero down on a couple of websites of specialist pen sellers in India which can dispatch pens or which dispatch pens after receiving payment with a greater amount of reliability. There may be hundreds of websites like this. Not all of them are crooks, but specialist pen sellers usually depend most of the times in this competitive world on the customer satisfaction and customer referrals. And in this context, in all these years, I, for example, have found 2 pen outlets. Both of them have physical shops in several cities in India, but they at the same time do attract a fair amount of online orders via their websites. And usually I procure most of my pen requirements from these 2 sellers, and the sellers are mentioned in my description. This is not to say that other sellers are less reliable. This is only to suggest that I have never found a single complaint or dissatisfaction of any nature with regard to these sellers. To give you their names, they are William Pen and the other one is Macoba. These are some of the considerations one should have while practicing pen collection. But remember, even the most careful eyes and astute brains can make glaring mistakes in acquisition of writing instruments. With these words, I thank you all for your patience, and I wish you all a happy and event-free pen acquisition. Thank you for watching the Seated Scribe. Hope to see you in another episode with a pen unboxing and review.